Hi. In this recording, I'm gonna talk about the power of music and Venetian snares. I like music that is in complicated time signatures, and Venetian Snares is an artist. His real name is Aaron Funk, and he's from Winnipeg, Canada. He made a lot of music in his 20s, mostly between the years 99 and 2008. That was his peak, so to say, when he made his most popular albums. And he's not a very famous artist. Some people might say that it's kind of nerdy to listen to his music, because it's very niched in the way that it has unusual time signatures that you won't hear often in popular music. These time signatures are more common in India, I believe. I believe that in India it's more common to make music in the time signature of 5 beats, either 5/4 or 5/8 and 7. But Venetian Snares, he really likes complex time signatures. So he makes most music in the time signature of 7. So much that I even at times call the time signature of 7 the Venetian Snares time signature. I haven't heard anyone else call it that, but I think it makes a lot of sense. As a joke. Or no, not as a joke, as a... I don't know. It's funny, basically. So I'm gonna talk about some songs that he made that I like. I'm gonna give you 3 examples of songs that I like by Venetian Snares and talk about these songs. The first song that I want to talk about is a song called Fuck Toronto Jungle. And Toronto is the capital of Canada, I know. And Aaron is from a smaller city of Canada, which I think is very far actually from Toronto, but that has nothing to do with the song. Or it probably has, I don't know. Either way, the song Fuck Toronto Jungle starts off with the usual Venetian Snares, chopped up breakbeats. And you can sense patterns everywhere, but it's always changing. And in the beginning of the song, it's kind of hard to hear what time signature it is if it's your first time listening to the song. But then, after about 2 minutes or something, it should be pretty easy to spot that it's the Venetian Snares time signature, his signature time signature of the number 7, 7/8, or 7/4. I don't even know the difference. Or I do know the difference. So, right now I'm standing on top of a mountain, and there's a sun here in the distance, and it looks like the sun is... I'm gonna describe how high up the sun is in the sky. And that can be a pretty hard thing to describe, because you cannot use a decimeter. It's kind of hard to use kilometer. So I guess what you should use to describe the height of the sun over the horizon is degrees. So maybe below less than 10 degrees is my guess. Either way, I can describe in this way how close to the horizon the sun is. I think that the sun is gonna set in about 30 minutes. That's how far away from the horizon the sun is. And I was talking about the song Fuck Toronto Jungle by Vsnares, and how after listening to the song for about 2 minutes, it can be easy to spot that it's the time signature of Vsnares. That is the way the song is working. So in the beginning of the song is pretty long, I think 7-8 minutes something. In the beginning of the song, it kind of feels like you're going through, or you're going up a breakbeat mountain. It's kind of not really that colored, kind of a gray abstract breakbeat mountain in the 7/4 time signature. And when you reach the top of the mountain, something very interesting happens, because you reach the top of that mountain at about 6 minutes in to the song. 5-6 minutes into the song, you reach the top of that mountain, and you reach some form of crescendo where the energy gets higher and higher until it reaches some kind of point in the song where it changes a lot. And when you reach this point in this song, to me, like, this probably feels different to everyone, because everyone has a different experience probably, but for me it feels like when you reach this top of this mountain, colored lights start to blink, and the lights kind of look a little bit like shapes that you generate in a program like Photoshop or GIMP, and also a little bit like there's a psychological test where ink is being put on a paper, and then the paper is being folded so that the ink creates a symmetrical shape. And this psychological test is working in the way that this shape is being made with ink on a paper, the symmetrical shape, and people are asked to look at this shape, and they're asked whether they see something in this abstract but symmetric shape of ink. And depending on what people see, you can analyze their psychology in different ways. And these kind of patterns that you see on this test is the way I would describe what happens when you reach this breakbeat mountain. I don't know. This is not me trying to fucking look good in Vsnares' eyes. This is just fun thoughts that I've had that I want to share. Because when I think about this song, I kind of think about this. So when you reach this breakbeat mountain, it kind of feels like you have these very vibrant, like you have RGB blue, RGB red, RGB green colored, these abstract symmetrical patterns that like flash really, really quickly. That's kind of my impression of this song, Fuck Toronto Jungle by Venetian Snares, and it's very interesting. And also, when you reach this point in the song, it is a little bit easier to keep following the rhythm, in my opinion. So I'm gonna walk down this mountain that I'm standing on right now into the forest and talk about the second song. And the second song is called Contain. Whoops, slipped a little bit on the moss here. Fuck Toronto Jungle was released in 2002 on an album that has a lot of numbers that I don't remember in the name, and the song Contain was released in 05 or 06 on the album Meat Hole, so a few years later. And this song has a lot of energy, very, 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 very truly. So this song is one of my favorite songs by Venetian Snares as well. And when you start listening to it, well, it kind of has an intro, if you can call it that, where it kind of sets the tone or the vibe of the song. It's kind of dark. There are some strings that play, I wouldn't call them spooky, maybe slightly melancholic, or maybe just dark melodies with strings. And it sounds pretty cool. And then there's a build-up, because in this song there's definitely a point where everything goes supernova, just like the last song. But this song is very, 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 very different than the last song still. And it also has a different time signature. This song has the time signature of 5/4. And also this song has an intro, which Fuck Toronto Jungle doesn't have. So after the intro, if I'm remembering correctly, there's some breakbeats again. Not like aim and break, but more in the direction of maybe traditional drums. And it's in 5/4, but if I remember correctly, it's kind of harder to hear that it's in a 5 time signature before the point where the song changes. So, but you can still hear that it is 10 or 5 time signature. And yeah, it does that for a bit, and then it hits the point where the tongue changes. And wow, very interesting things happen, you know, truly. The song is very beautiful. You know, yeah, so it kind of feels good to listen to this song, I guess. So I'm gonna sit myself here on a big boulder in the forest, and the sun is actually shining on me right now. So I'm gonna sit here on this boulder and explain what happens next. So this is my experience of Venetian Snares. I wonder if other people have similar listening impressions, or if people have completely different impressions. I guess you could call this synesthesia. So what I feel happens when you hit a point where the song changes around 2.5 minutes something. I think the song is 5 minutes. I think it's about around 5 minutes, maybe a little bit more. What happens is it feels like you're going through a tunnel, or like you have a large, like you close your eyes and all around you at a distance of the sky is an enormous, in the size of the sky, tracker in renoise that goes downwards and it's like brown and gold, and then it changes to something like you're swimming underwater, like you're a fish, or something else, like you're swimming up to the surface, or you're on your way to somewhere, or you're stuck in some kind of loop, or you're in some kind of transmission. But it feels like whatever is happening, it's kind of hard to understand what is happening, but whatever it is that is happening, I get the feeling that somewhere within this, a window opens up to a new world that is something very, very, very different. I don't know what it is, but it feels like there's a small window at a point in this song that opens to something that is a very special thing. And I feel like this window only opens, or maybe it doesn't even open. Maybe it doesn't even open. Maybe it just feels like I kind of scratch the surface, but I don't go above the surface, but I reach close enough to the surface to see where it ends. So I get a glimpse of the other side of whatever it is. And then it just gets more thunder, more snow, more gravel falling from the sky, and just euphoria. And then you kind of forget about this window. But if you listen to the song again, if you listen to it again a few years later, if you listen to the song once when you haven't listened to it in a very long time, you can get this impression. It's at least what happened to me. So that's pretty interesting, and it's also a very I could call it clean 5/4 rhythm, in my opinion. And it's also pretty quick tempo, and it also has a lot of energy. So that's my thoughts about Contain by Venetian Snares. Now I'm going to keep exploring this local forest where I live. And in front of me there's a really big boulder. The boulder that I sat on was around a cube meter, and this boulder in front of me is around a cube 3x3x3. So is it 3 times as big, or is it more? I don't know. So yeah, this is a really large boulder. I haven't seen a boulder this large here in this forest. And wow, there's another one here next to it that's almost equally big. Wow, there are 2 enormous boulders here just next to each other. That's very cool. So I should climb one of them before I tell you about the third song that I wanted to talk about. So it's also very cold in the air, and my smartphone doesn't like when it's this cold. So sometimes it shuts off when it's this cold. So this might happen, and then the recording is gonna be turned off. Then I will make a second recording, then I'll make a part 2 and talk about this third song in the part 2. But right now it seems to be recording, so I'm gonna begin talking about this. And now I'm gonna climb a little mountain, or it's pretty big, but wait. Ooh. Okay, I'm on top of a extremely large boulder, and there are two pretty much equally large boulders here. So, this third song is a song called "A Giant Alien Force More Strong and Powerful Than Anyone Could Imagine." And the only way to listen to this song is on Vsnares Bandcamp page, where you can listen to the song a few times for free, and then you have to buy it unless you listen to it in another browser or with another IP address, I think, if that's how Bandcamp works. But I don't think it exists anywhere else legally. So this song, I call it the 15 of 15, because this song is 15 minutes of 15 beats repeating. Basically a 8 beat plus a very little plus a half beat. You can think of it as 8 beats plus a half beat repeat, or you can think about it as 3x5. So it's 5 and then it's 5 again and then again, repeating like that. You can also think about it as well, you can just feel the rhythm as 15 sometimes. At one point in the song, I even think that it's easiest to feel the rhythm as 3 times 4 plus 3, maybe. Let's see. Yeah, 3 times 4 plus 3, I think, is the way the beats are kind of played out. So it makes sense at one point in the song. So the time signature here is 15, and there's a woman walking by the boulders with her black dog. And the sun is shining through tree branches. So, the sun seems about 2/3 of the distance that it was the last time I measured it from the horizon. So I think it's gonna set in about 20 minutes, is my guess. And the time signature of the song is 15, and the length of the song is 15 minutes and a few seconds. And that's why I call this song the 15 of 15. And this song is longer than any song that DJ Shadow has made. DJ Shadow is another artist that I really like. And the longest song by DJ Shadow is What Does Your Soul Look Like Part 2, which is around 13 minutes, I think. And the second longest song by DJ Shadow is In Flux, around 12:30. And the third longest song by DJ Shadow is I'm talking about Venetian Snares, not DJ Shadow. DJ Shadow I can talk about too, but I'm talking about Venetian Snares now. So it's wait, what was that song's name now? Lost and Found. That's it. I found it. Okay. Back to Vsnares. This song with a really long name. If you're gonna listen to it, I'm gonna give you this. Idea, because I think this would be really cool for someone that listens to this song for the first time. And this is for a person that is able to follow the time signature of 15, so that they won't listen to the song and not be able to keep in time. So you don't need to be an expert of the time signature 15, but I would say that make sure you have a basic understanding so that you can at times follow along. And if you have a basic understanding, do this. Sit on a bed or somewhere where it's comfortable, in a room. Make sure you're by yourself in this room. Close the door and turn off the lights and put down the blinds so that it's pitch black in the room. Then put on headphones and turn on the song on loud volume. And sit still, basically, and just listen. And what does this song feel like? Well, this song has an intro. This song has different parts to it, I could call it. But more than that, I'm not gonna tell you. I'm gonna leave this as a challenge to you that you can do if you want. You don't have to, but I'm gonna leave you like this with this challenge, and you will see what this song is when you listen to it.